The notification from my credit monitoring app hit my phone at 0347 hours while I was reviewing supply manifests in the operations tent. My name is Soren Roscoe. I'm 32 years old, second lieutenant in the Air Force, currently stationed at Camp Lemonnier, Djibouti. Been deployed here for 8 months managing logistics coordination between allied forces. The work keeps me busy. The isolation keeps me focused. I almost dismissed the alert. Credit monitoring apps send notifications for everything: new accounts, address changes, hard inquiries. Usually nothing worth losing sleep over, but this one made me pause. New mortgage application submitted under your Social Security number. I stared at the screen, read it twice, then 3 times. I don't own property, never applied for a mortgage. Been deployed for most of the year. The application showed an address in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd never lived in Phoenix. My fingers moved across the phone screen, opened my banking app. Checked recent transactions. Everything looked normal. Payroll deposits, automatic bill payments, nothing unusual. But the mortgage application bothered me. I called the credit monitoring service, waded through automated menus, finally reached a human at their fraud department. Sir, the application was submitted yesterday at 2:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the representative said. Shows your Social Security number, date of birth, and employment information with the Air Force. What address did they use? 1247 Desert Vista Drive, Phoenix, Arizona, 85016. I wrote it down. What about income verification? Shows annual salary of $67,000. Tax returns from last year attached to support the application. My actual salary was $54,000. Someone had inflated the numbers. Can you email me copies of the documents they submitted? I can send you a summary report, but the actual tax documents would need to come from the mortgage company directly. The call ended. I sat in the tent listening to generators humming outside. Desert wind rattled the canvas walls. Someone had my personal information, my Social Security number, my employment details. They'd created fake tax returns showing higher income, applied for a mortgage using my identity. But who had access to my financial documents? I thought about my business partnership back home. Marcus Kellerman and I had started a small property management company before my deployment. We'd filed partnership tax returns together. He handled the day-to-day operations while I was overseas. Marcus had copies of my tax documents, my Social Security number, my banking information. My phone buzzed again. Another notification from the credit monitoring app. Second mortgage application submitted under your Social Security number. This one showed the same Phoenix address, same inflated income, but the loan amount was different, higher. Someone wasn't just stealing my identity, they were building something bigger. I needed to understand how deep this went. Called my bank's fraud hotline from the secure communications tent, waited 47 minutes on hold. Sir, we show 3 credit inquiries on your account in the past week, the fraud specialist said. 2 mortgage applications and 1 auto loan pre-approval. Auto loan? Submitted Tuesday morning. Shows employment verification from Desert Vista Property Management, LLC in Phoenix. That company didn't exist, at least not legitimately. What documentation did they provide? Pay stubs showing monthly income of $5,583. Tax returns from last year, W-2 forms. The numbers were precise. Professional. Someone had created an entire financial profile using my identity. I hung up and opened my laptop, connected to the base's secure internet. Started searching property records for 1247 Desert Vista Drive. The address existed. Single-family home, built in 2019. Currently listed as vacant. But the property ownership records showed something interesting. The house was owned by Desert Vista Holdings, LLC. Registered agent listed as M. Kellerman. Marcus. I pulled up our business partnership documents from my encrypted drive. Cross-referenced the signatures on our original contracts. The handwriting matched what I remembered. But I needed proof. Called my accountant back in Colorado Springs. Janet Reeves had prepared our partnership tax returns for 3 years. She'd know if something was wrong. "Soren, good to hear from you," she said. "How's the deployment going?" "Fine. Quick question about our tax filings. Did Marcus request copies of my individual returns recently?" "Actually, yes. About 6 weeks ago. Said he needed them for a loan application. Something about expanding the business." 6 weeks ago, right after I'd been deployed to Djibouti. "What exactly did you send him?" "Complete copies of your last 2 years of individual returns, plus your W-2s and 1099s. He said you'd authorized it via email." "I never sent that email." Silence on the line. "Soren, I have the email right here. Came from your Gmail account." My stomach dropped. "Can you forward it to me?" "Sending now." The email arrived 2 minutes later, sent from my personal Gmail account. The writing style matched my usual messages, but I'd never written it. Marcus had access to my email password. I'd given it to him months ago when he needed to handle some business correspondence while I was in training. I changed all my passwords immediately: email, banking apps, credit monitoring services, everything. Then I called Marcus directly. "Soren, how's Africa treating you?" His voice sounded normal, friendly. "Good. Hey, quick question. Did you apply for any business loans recently?" "Nothing major, just exploring some expansion opportunities." "Why?" "My credit monitoring app is showing some unusual activity." "Probably just routine business credit checks. You know how these things work." But his tone had shifted, less casual, more careful. "What kind of expansion are you planning?" "Real estate acquisition. There's a property in Phoenix that could be perfect for our portfolio." "Phoenix. The same city from the mortgage applications." "Sounds interesting." "What's the address?" "Still working out the details. I'll send you the information once everything's finalized." The call ended. I sat staring at my phone. Marcus had been my business partner for 2 years. We'd started the property management company together, split everything 50-50. I'd trusted him with my financial information, my passwords, my business decisions. But the evidence was building: the Phoenix address, the fake company name, the inflated income figures, the email I'd never sent. I needed more proof before making accusations. Called my credit union's fraud department. Requested detailed transaction histories for the past 3 months. They agreed to email everything within 24 hours. Then I contacted my old roommate from officer training. Captain Lisa Hendricks worked in military intelligence at Peterson Air Force Base. She understood digital forensics. "Lisa, I need a favor. Someone might be using my identity for mortgage fraud." "How serious are we talking?" "Multiple applications, fake tax documents, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars." "Send me everything you have. I'll run it through our fraud detection software." I compiled all the evidence: email screenshots, credit report summaries, property records, bank notifications. Sent everything to Lisa through encrypted military channels. Her response came back 6 hours later. "Soren, this is sophisticated. Whoever's doing this has detailed knowledge of your financial history. They've created a complete alternate identity using your social security number. The tax documents show professional-level forgery." "Any idea who?" "Based on the timeline and access patterns, it's someone close to you. Someone who's had regular access to your personal information over an extended period." The next morning brought another credit alert: 4th mortgage application, this time for $340,000. Same Phoenix address, same fake company. But this application included something new: a co-signer. Marcus Kellerman. He'd listed himself as my business partner and co-applicant, used our legitimate business partnership as collateral for his fraud scheme. I called the mortgage company directly, spoke to the loan officer handling the application. "Sir, your partner submitted very impressive documentation," she said. "Your business shows strong revenue growth. The property management portfolio looks solid." "What portfolio?" "Desert Vista Property Management. Shows 12 rental properties currently under management. Gross monthly revenue of $18,400. Our actual business managed 4 properties. Monthly revenue barely reached $3,200. Marcus had created an entirely fictional business empire using my name and social security number. Can you email me the complete application package? I'll need written authorization from both applicants. I'm currently deployed overseas. Can I provide military verification instead? 20 minutes later, I had the full application in my inbox. The documents were masterful forgeries. Tax returns showing business income I'd never earned. Bank statements for accounts I'd never opened. Property deeds for houses I'd never owned. But Marcus had made one critical mistake. The signature on my supposed authorization form didn't match my actual signature. Close, but not perfect. The S in Soren was slightly different. The loop in the R was too wide. I'd found my smoking gun. Called Lisa back with the new evidence. This is federal wire fraud, she said. Multiple counts. You need to contact the FBI immediately. What about confronting Marcus first? Absolutely not. He's committed serious felonies. Let law enforcement handle this. But I wanted answers. I wanted to understand why my business partner had betrayed me, why he'd stolen my identity while I was serving overseas. The betrayal cut deeper than the financial fraud. Marcus and I had built something together. I'd trusted him with everything. Now I knew that trust had been a lie from the beginning. I ignored Lisa's advice about confronting Marcus. Called him from my quarters at 0800 the next morning. He answered on the second ring. Soren! How's the deployment treating you? His voice carried the same casual warmth it always had, no hint of guilt or nervousness. Good. Listen, I need to ask you about something. The mortgage application for the Tucson property. Brief pause. What about it? The loan officer mentioned some discrepancies in the paperwork, said our business revenue numbers looked inflated. Really? That's strange. I submitted everything, exactly as we discussed. The lie came so easily, so naturally. Marcus, they're showing Desert Vista Property Management with 12 rental properties. We only manage 4. Longer pause this time. Must be a clerical error on their end. You know how these big mortgage companies are, always mixing up files. They sent me copies of the application. Your signature is on everything. My signature, too. Of course it is. We're business partners. I never signed those documents. Dead silence. Soren, you're deployed. You're stressed. Maybe you forgot. I never signed them because I never saw them. You forged my signature. The line went quiet for 30 seconds. When Marcus spoke again, his voice had changed completely. You don't understand the pressure I was under. There it was, the admission. Explain it to me. The business was failing. We were hemorrhaging money on the Phoenix properties. I needed capital fast or we were going to lose everything. So you committed fraud using my identity. I was protecting our investment. Protecting your investment too. By stealing from me? By securing financing we needed. The plan was to flip the Tucson property quickly. Pay back the loan. You'd never have known. But I found out. Because you're paranoid about your credit. Always checking those monitoring apps. The casual dismissal in his tone triggered something cold in my chest. How long have you been doing this? This was the first time, I swear. Marcus, I've seen the bank statements, the fake tax returns. This took months to set up. Another long pause. Okay, maybe I've been creative with some of our business documentation before, but only to help us qualify for better terms. Creative, that's what you call forgery. Soren, listen to me. We can fix this. I'll withdraw the application. We'll restructure everything legitimately. It's too late for that. What do you mean? I mean, I've already contacted the authorities. The silence stretched for almost a minute. You called the FBI? Among others. Jesus Christ, Soren, do you have any idea what you've done? I've reported a federal crime. You've destroyed both our lives. They'll freeze all our business accounts, seize our properties, everything we built together. Everything you built on lies. I was trying to save us. His voice cracked. For the first time since I'd known him, Marcus sounded desperate. Save us from what? The Phoenix market crashed harder than we expected. Our rental income dropped 40%. The maintenance costs were killing us. I had to do something. You could have told me. You were deployed. You had enough to worry about without me dumping business problems on you. So you decided to commit fraud instead. I decided to find a solution. The rationalization was perfect. Marcus genuinely believed he'd been helping. How much total? What? How much money are we talking about? The Tucson property, the fake business revenue, all of it. The mortgage application was for $340,000. That's not what I asked. Long pause. Including the business credit lines, I opened maybe $180,000 in additional exposure. Additional to what? The original fraud was smaller, maybe $60,000 total. So $240,000. Roughly. Over how long? 18 months. I'd been deployed for 14 months. Marcus had been stealing from me almost since the day I left. I trusted you. You can still trust me. We can fix this together. No, we can't. Soren, please, think about what you're doing. I'm your business partner. Your friend. You were my friend. Now you're a criminal who stole my identity. I never meant for it to go this far. But it did. I hung up. 2 hours later, my phone rang. Unknown number. Second Lieutenant Roscoe? Speaking. This is Detective Young with the Drug Enforcement Administration. I understand you filed a complaint regarding identity theft and wire fraud. That's correct. I'm working with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit on this case. We'd like to set up a controlled contact with the suspect. Meaning? We want you to call him again, this time with recording equipment. Try to get him to admit to specific crimes with dollar amounts and time frames. When? Tomorrow at 1,400 hours. We'll have technical support standing by to ensure clean audio quality. What if he doesn't cooperate? Then we proceed with the evidence we already have, but a recorded confession makes prosecution much easier. I'll do it. Good. One more thing. Don't contact the suspect again until we're ready. We don't want him getting spooked and destroying evidence. The next afternoon, I sat in a secure communications room at Camp Lemonnier with FBI technical equipment, recording every word. Called Marcus at exactly 1,400 hours. Soren? Thank God. I've been thinking about our conversation yesterday. And? I want to make this right. I'll pay back every penny. We can restructure the business legitimately. How much exactly? I told you yesterday. Around $240,000 total. Break it down for me. The Tucson mortgage application was $340,000, but that was just an application. No money actually changed hands yet. What about the money that did change hands? The business credit line's $180,000 across 4 different financial institutions. Using my Social Security number? Using our business partnership documentation, your SSN was required as co-applicant. Without my knowledge or consent. Soren, you have to understand. Did you forge my signature on loan documents? I had to. You were deployed. There was no way to get your actual signature. So that's a yes. Yes, but only because... How many times? What? How many documents did you forge my signature on? I don't know, maybe 15 or 20. Over what time period? The last 1.5 years. While I was deployed overseas serving my country. Yes. Perfect. Detective Young gave me a thumbs up from across the room. Marcus, I need you to understand something. What you did was federal wire fraud, identity theft, forgery. Multiple felonies. I know, but we can fix this before anyone gets hurt. Someone already got hurt. Me. Your credit will recover. The business can recover, we just need time. There is no more business. There is no more partnership. Soren, please. The FBI will be contacting you soon. I hung up and looked at Detective Young. That should do it, he said. Clean admissions to wire fraud, identity theft, and forgery, with specific dollar amounts and time frames. What happens now? We execute the arrest warrant. Probably tomorrow morning. Will I need to testify? Eventually, but the recorded confession should make this a straightforward prosecution. Marcus was arrested at his Phoenix apartment at 0630 the following morning. The FBI seized his computers, phones, and financial records. The investigation revealed the full scope of his fraud. Beyond my case, Marcus had been running similar schemes with 2 other business partners. Total theft exceeded $800,000. He pled guilty to 12 federal charges 6 months later, sentenced to 4 years in federal prison, and ordered to pay full restitution. The court froze his assets and liquidated his property holdings. I recovered about 60% of my losses. More importantly, the other victims got justice too. Detective Young connected me with the FBI's Victim Assistance Program. They helped me rebuild my credit and secure my financial accounts. I also started working with other military personnel who'd been targeted by identity thieves while deployed overseas. 12 months later, I was back at Camp Lemonnier for my second deployment rotation. The desert heat felt familiar now, comfortable even. My financial situation had stabilized completely. The restitution payments came through as ordered by the federal court. My credit score recovered to pre-fraud levels within 8 months. The business was officially dissolved, all partnership agreements terminated, all shared accounts closed permanently. I kept my investment strategy simple now: index funds, government bonds, nothing requiring a business partner's signature. The FBI Victim Assistance Program had been invaluable during recovery. They connected me with other service members who'd experienced similar betrayals during deployment. That's how I learned about the scope of the problem. Identity theft targeting deployed military personnel was more common than anyone wanted to admit. We were perfect victims. Overseas for months, limited access to mail, delayed notification of financial irregularities. Predators knew this and exploited it systematically. So I started something new. I coordinate a peer mentorship network for fraud prevention. We meet virtually twice monthly, share warning signs, discuss protective measures, review security protocols. The group has grown to 47 active members across all service branches. We've prevented at least 6 major fraud attempts in the past year. Early detection saved those service members hundreds of thousands in potential losses. Detective Young still sends updates occasionally. Marcus served his full sentence. Released 3 months ago. Moved back to Ohio to live with his parents. The other victims in his scheme recovered most of their losses too. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit had been thorough and professional throughout. I never heard from Marcus again after that recorded phone call. No apology letters. No attempts at contact. Nothing. That was fine with me. Trust, once broken completely, doesn't repair itself. Some bridges burn permanently. My new deployment felt different this time. Cleaner. No business partnerships. No shared financial obligations. No one back home with access to my personal information. Just me, my mission, and the knowledge that I'd helped other service members avoid the same trap. The evening call to prayer echoed across the base as I finished updating the fraud prevention database. Another day of protecting those who protect others. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned.